Light from the west at 0. T-Rex, let's go out the door on a Friday, and just in time to see the first sunshine of the day burning through the smoke and clouds and still air once again. It looked so innocent from a week ago, what was going to happen this week. Oh yeah, there's going to be an upper level low, we should watch out for something. But no one had yesterday. What a shocker of a storm that came through yesterday. Just start right there. There's the radar image from Phil, Content Weather Guy, or is it Content Weather Guy, with training storms setting up along Route 3 in southeastern Massachusetts to Cape Cod. So what happened? To me, it's like a gutter ball when you're bowling. Your big ball gets into the gutter and it has momentum and it just stays in the groove. And then another ball comes, and then another ball comes, and that's called training storms. You look at the wind at the TF Green Airport. I know there's a lot of numbers here, but basically TF Green had wind from the northwest, then west, then southwest. And you go just about 25, 30 miles to the east. In Marshfield, the wind was from the southeast, and then the east, and then the northeast and north. That is surface convergence. And it's not just because of a sea breeze where the heating of the day causes the air to rise over the land. No, we actually had a synoptic scale trough between two high pressure systems to the west and to the east, and upper level flow from the due north. And that caused those training storms to erupt, and we even had a closed low pressure system, only a 1014 meso low pressure system, form right over southeastern Massachusetts. And the rainfall amounts pretty extraordinary, especially on Cape Cod, for having no named storms. Later in this video, we'll talk to Charlie Orloff a little bit, or we'll watch him celebrate a special occasion, his 60th anniversary, and this week is the 59th anniversary of decaying hurricanes Connie and Diane, which flooded New England. Those were named storms. This time, our air was coming from the north. Amazing. No named storms to end up with that much rainfall. T-Rex enjoying the sunshine. Some neighbors walking by. It was a disaster for some yesterday. Now, Chris in Raynham, there was the hail. Thank you, Chris, for sharing. Remember the freezing level up around 13,000 feet, but the cloud tops up around 30,000 feet. So the whole top half of these clouds is ice, and that formation of the ice in the cloud, the ice gets so heavy, it comes down in downbursts, and a lot of damage reports yesterday, and lightning. That's what forms lightning, the hail formation or the ice formation in these clouds. And I say disaster in Enfield, Connecticut. Ross Budd has some friends in Enfield that are tobacco farmers, and 30 acres of just about ready to harvest tobacco leaf used for wrappers on cigars. Yeah, this is Connecticut, full of holes. Hopefully some of the harvest is okay, but look at the holes in the leaf. Imagine that working so hard for so long, and then you're just about to harvest, and in one 10-minute storm, devastating. What else? There was severe weather reported all over the place, way more than we thought. And here's the severe storm map from yesterday. You see some in New York, but more so from southern New Hampshire down eastern Massachusetts. And then if I put the cursor over one of the blue dots in Chelmsford, so many trees down and wires down, emergency 911 calls or respond calls were ringing off the hook. Do young people even know what ringing off the hook means? Your phone used to be on a wall.
Say what?
And it had a ringer.
Telephone.
And it was supported by a hook. And when you lifted the phone off the hook, the lever came up and you were ready to make a phone call. Ringing off the hook. I like that old school expression. All right, today we are between systems. There's subsidence, that cloud on the satellite. Let's show a real big satellite. Shall I show you the real big satellite? The one that goes all the way to Europe. And the very far upper right there, that is the remnant of tropical cyclone Debbie going into Scandinavia today. And you can see the tail from that front goes all the way across the Atlantic and right into the Northeast today, where you see a funneling of smoke coming into New England. And then on the left, there's a pretty good storm over the Midwest. And then there's Hurricane Ernesto at the bottom. And if we close in just here on the Northeast, sort of a closer scale, but still you can see the storm over the Midwest, the hurricane in the bottom, and right over New England, the decaying cloud in the exact position where the thunderstorms hit yesterday. Training thunderstorms. And I was right here in South Dennis, and I couldn't even see them. Usually if there's a 3-inch rainstorm over Falmouth, I can see it from Dennis, but it was so smoky yesterday. 3 inches? Yeah. The CocoRa's map. You can show the whole country here. Go to CocoRa's. Missouri, Florida, and Massachusetts got the most rain. In Missouri, I think there was a little over 4 inches. In Florida, there was just under 3.7. And then coming in, what was it, 19th on the whole national map, Falmouth, Massachusetts, 2.99. Here's the rainfall from southern New Hampshire. You close in on the maps. You can get these maps on the CocoRa's. I'm not at home to enter my data. Southern New Hampshire, more than an inch. Weir and Merrimack had 3/8 inch diameter hail. So many reports of hail yesterday. Boston area picked up about, it looks like a 1/2 inch at my house in Weymouth or so. Should show the time lapse from yesterday if I have time. No time off. No days off in this department. The weather, even on a quiet week, has been just so demanding. And across Cape Cod, sorry. There's that 2.99 sticking right out near Woods Hole. An incredible day yesterday. One for the history books, really. I mean, to have a northerly flow and that much rain on Cape Cod, training storms from the due north, I don't think I've ever seen that, really. I mean, you get training snow, bands from the north, but not usually flooding rain. And once again, that was a front that went by last weekend, went out, caused an upper level low to form. Then that upper level low went east of us with those surprise showers on Monday, storms, and then it retrograded back. So this is the third time in 5 weeks, if you've been following along this summer, that a system has gone out to sea, retrograded back into New England, and resulted in flooding rains. The Lyndonville flood that was so surprising was underneath the center of an upper level low, but that was under the center of an upper low. Yesterday we were on the edge of an upper low, so that's why the storms trained off to the south. All right, next, let's go to the forecast. This cloud is thinning out, and we are all getting some sunshine and smoke today. Oh yeah, I got to show the smoke forecast. Look at that. Andy. Debbie took the smoke trail all the way across the North Atlantic there in the far upper right, and then you have that storm in the Midwest. It's kind of bringing the smoke around to its south side, which is bad news for us as that comes in over the weekend. And then right in New England, the thickest smoke of all is right in New England, with a little bit of ridging happening between the Midwest system and the upper low that's retreating off into the North Atlantic right now. So we have heavy smoke in the forecast again today, and it looks like it's going to wrap around that system from the Midwest as it comes in from the west. I'm going to skip a bunch of things. I was going to show the HRRR with the rain returning tomorrow. Just a freckle of a chance of a shower or a storm in northern New England today. There's the Weather Prediction Center map with just a couple of thunderstorms possible in far northern New England, but it's not going to be any repeat of yesterday. No surprises today, right? Right. And then the Boston 5-day Meteo says high temperatures in the 70s with fickle winds. The wind has been fickle all week, and some low clouds forming each night with a dew point and temperature in the 60s to near 70, and then by day those clouds should burn off. So now the Euro has really backed off its rain band for tomorrow night and Sunday. So now it looks like more like Sunday night and Monday is when the rain's going to return. So that's great news for the weekend forecast. Now let's go to the Euro 10-day and go day by day here with the lows and the highs, and that low over the Midwest creating a lot more rain again today and severe weather in the middle of the nation, slowly coming in our direction, but we have ridging between Ernesto going off there on the right. I'm not even going to talk much about Ernesto today. And it looks like the rain, just a few showers possible tomorrow afternoon. And then again on Sunday afternoon, there goes Ernesto, now much weaker and moving, looks like hopefully south of Newfoundland. And we still get the surf, but we don't get those rain bands. And then the storms from the Midwest come in here and stall a little bit Monday night, Tuesday. We have off and on rain, heavy at times, and then drier, much cooler air comes back in. Another upper level low coming into southeastern Canada Wednesday, but that front off the south of New England is slow to go away. And then finally that's gone, and so slow clearing from north to south. Next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday looking good. And fresh air fanatic getting married on Long Island now in the 10-day forecast next Sunday. It's August 25th. Let's stop it right there. Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. There's a high pressure system to your south. You see the 570 red line over the northeast. And that means it should be mostly sunny and warm and maybe not that humid with temperatures in the 80s. Cooler at the coast, but still the lingering upper level low could cause some problems in next week's forecasts. All right, I just passed 11:11. And more from yesterday. I didn't even get to the mushrooms or the pumpkins. I did find a pumpkin. We'll talk more about that later today and tomorrow's and more, because yesterday was so riveting weather-wise as we traveled towards those storms and helped Gene and Charlie Orloff and their family and friends celebrate 60th anniversary. And Charlie, the outpouring of love last night, so fun, so nice. And Blair putting together the slideshow with all of you throughout the years, looking like JFK and Jackie O when you got married 60 years ago. And then the year right after that, your first year, Hurricanes Connie and Diane coming through here. And so anybody that could be married to a weather geek who is so busy, and the school systems and the Blue Hill Observatory, that was a real honor to be able to say a few words at that event last night and watch the weather at the same time. Dizzying array of events happening all at the same time. Utterly captivating, said Darius the Great, I think over a week ago, and that's what weather is. Utterly captivating. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the comments and even the reports from Italy yesterday, from Ray in Nevada. I hope you all survived yesterday's storms. Now we get a couple of days off, I think. Talk to you tomorrow. Just past 2 in the afternoon in South Dennis, middle of Cape Cod, looking toward the west. Usually I would be able to tell if there was a towering cumulonimbus across the pond over there towards the canal. But not today. Too much smoke. Incredible training storms from New Hampshire right through Boston into the Upper Cape. That is an ominous sky. Indeed. It's gonna be close. Hey, somebody did donuts in the club parking lot. Out the door. Like 2 miles away from that downpour. Thank you for not downpouring on us until we get in there. Been able to kind of feel it all the way from Dennis. Certainly can kind of feel it from here. A little rumbling going on. Wow. Extraordinary, anomalous event. I mean, training storms from the north, almost never. And some mamadas up there too. Blue sky. Well, look out the window again. I mean, this training thunderstorms, Lori. The song says blue sky. There's some blue in the umbrellas, but just an amazing, terrible storm, really, at the canal. And you can almost see the other side of the storm over there toward Buzzards Bay. Just this ribbon of rain with training, flooding, severe thunderstorms from the north with a wind from the west down near the ground. This is one for the history books. This whole night is one for the history books. I just saw a flash of lightning. Osprey. You can definitely hear the thunder. This is Nantucket Sound. They made them get off the beach about 4 hours ago. Crows were happy about that. Yeah. Charlie and Gene Orloff, 60 years. Blair said when she was coming over the bridge at the Bourne Bridge 3 hours ago, there was continuous lightning all around her, and it's still raining there. No man or machine called for this kind of weather today. A week ago we were talking about can't trust these upper level lows, and we're gonna have another one next week too, believe it or not, after Ernesto. Still feel like there's some Debbie DNA going on over here. Who owns the beach now? Just saw one come down straight to the ground and another one went off in that direction. Got clams. Want to look back in time a little bit? This thing has weathered some hurricanes, including the 50s, I think the 40s, maybe even 38. Towels. Should we? Uninvited. Go back in time. Cruise quarters. Oh, I was wondering how old. Tell by the sinks. No, you can tell by the floor. 1927. Alrighty then. So happy to be here. It was inevitable. 5:46. Raindrops have arrived in Centerville. Lori just said, time for Charlie to say something. This is your turn.
What's the microphone?
Nobody.
Tasked with getting your attention for a very special cause. And
I think I've done a damn good job of that. Gene and I seldom agree on anything. And we enjoy a good sparring contest at least once a week. Like I think it was today. And even though I always lose, I wouldn't change anything. How boring it would be if we agreed on everything. As all of you know, Jean is a remarkable woman. She is strong and tenacious, and at the same time compassionate and caring of others. Embarrassingly for me, she knows everyone, not only by their name, but by their family members, their children, and even their grandchildren. And this is why she in turn is liked and admired by so many of you. And that includes me. Some sage person once said, you don't marry someone you could live with. You marry the person who you could not live without.
Chris and Lori, we're gonna go on a trip around the world.
This is for you, Charlie, and your beautiful wife of 60 years, Gene, and your family. It's a pleasure and an honor. In other words, please be true. Yes, in other words, I love you.
A lot of love in this room. Thanks for having me. I'll let Lori and Chris play us out tonight. Time lapse from Weymouth should be awesome.
Then ocean view, you're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod. Winding roads that seem to beckon you, miles fields of green beneath the sky of blue. Church bells chiming on a Sunday morning, they remind you of the town where you were born. If you spend an evening, you'll want to stay, watching the moonlight on Cape Cod Bay. You're sure to fall in love.
It's a lot of work being married for 60 years. How do you do it? What's the trick?
I'm married to the right person.
Ah. And by the way, you and I have a penchant not only for weather, but also bow ties. I was actually wearing bow ties before I met you, but
Really?
you kept the passion going. Great time tonight, Charlie.
Well,
Thank you so much for having
Oh,
us.
well, I'm glad you could come, and you were a great master of ceremonies, too.
Anytime.